Hi guys, Day here. I got 29 Wolven King's Bite Divination cards in 500 Lair Maps. Why did I run these maps? Well, Divination card farming has long been touted as one of the most effective ways to earn currency. By combining the inherent profits of farming endgame maps with the occasional drop of a highly valued Divination card, there is potential for some of the highest profits in the game. In this video, I'll be briefly reviewing the loot from 500 Lair Maps, discussing Lair farming specifically, and then talk about other popular maps to farm as a potential strategy for future leagues. I farmed 500 Lair Maps through 25 hours, profiting over 6,500 chaos. I won't talk about all my loot here, but please check out the spreadsheet linked in the description if you are interested in a detailed loot breakdown and profit calculations. The majority of the currency gain is from raw currency drops and divination cards, which is as expected. Notably, I got 7 exalts, 19 divines, and a few big uniques. I got 704 Lair map returns and about 1,000 fusings worth of loyalty divination cards. I also got 2 2-socket Tomb Fists worth 9.5 exalts each, but I am not including them in my profit calculations to represent a more average farming session. When you consider hourly profits, I earned over 250 chaos per hour, which would be pretty great if other strategies weren't so popular this league. The average profit per map was around 13 chaos and would be much higher if I included currency gained from other typical sources of mapping profit such as gem leveling, alva temples, syndicate safe houses, and casual delving. Every map was chiseled, alked, and valed, with 2 red and 2 yellow sextants used at all times. I had a 137 Atlas bonus and uncompleted all of my T11 and T12 maps aside from Lair. I used my Elder Orb to turn the connected castle ruins into a tier 16 map so the tier 12 version would never drop. Therefore, tier 11 Lair is the only red map that can drop while mapping, aside from the rare T13 map from the boss. I used a fairly standard Magic Find Tornado Shot build with 65% increased item quantity, not including the Wind Ripper, and I've linked some guides in the description if you are curious about this kind of build. I chose to farm Lair for 3 main reasons. These reasons are things you should consider when choosing your own maps to farm for profit. Firstly, it contains 2 divination cards that serve as a fairly consistent source of profit. The Wolven King's Bite card is highly coveted as they create the Rigwald's Quill Quiver, one of the best in-slot items for bow builds like Tornado Shot. The price of this card has consistently stayed between 80 and 110 chaos in the past few leagues and is likely to stay that way as long as bow characters are strong. When the card does drop about 1 in every 17 maps, it makes for a satisfying spike in profits. Also, the Loyalty Divination card drops pretty often, which typically got me around 2 extra fusings a map. It doesn't sound like much, but that guaranteed currency gain adds up over time. Secondly, Lair has a high mob count with a great monster density. High monster count and density means you can kill lots of monsters very quickly, which means more drops per map, meaning the investment that goes into rolling and running the map pays off really easily. It's part of the reason why people run Underground Sea, despite it not having super high value divination cards. Finally, Lair has a good layout and great map design. It's fairly linear, literally just one long tunnel that will occasionally split into 2 paths and rejoin back together. There is a small amount of backtracking, but it's fairly intuitive and predictable. Since the color of the map is also very dark, it's easy on the eyes, making it easy to run for long durations of time. All these factors come together make for a really fun mapping experience overall. When you run 500 maps in a row, it's pretty important that you like the map. I had the option of running tier 16 Elder Lair instead of the T11 version. The main difference would be that I could obtain red map drops to sell and set up an Elder Shaper blob to get high Elder and Shaper item bases. But at this point in the league, I didn't want to sell maps, and my build may have struggled in a tier 16 map, especially with Syndicate encounters being the way they are. Other popular divination card farming spots at the moment include Tower for the Nurse map, Precinct and Arcade for the Saint's Treasure, Burial Chamber and Spider Forest for the Doctor, and in Hardcore, Volcano for the King's Heart. There are a few other less popular options, so in the description, I've linked a list of high-value divination card drops and their respective maps for you to review, and may give you a good idea as to some other maps you can try to farm for profit. Keep in mind, divination card farming at the level I'm doing requires a bit of PoE experience. The barrier to entry is pretty high, requiring over 10 chaos in investment per map, with a build that has some increased item quantity to boost item drops. While you could just alch and go to cut down costs with some random build, it's possible you'll be making much less profit per map and earn currency at a slower rate. Obviously, you don't need to do everything I do to make a profit from mapping, but you may not receive the same level of returns without a comparable investment. While delving and syndicate farming were really effective ways to earn currency this league, I think divination card farming through maps has the greatest chance of being a long-term staple of currency farming. It gives you the greatest diversity in gameplay, as long as you don't run 500 of the same map, and allows you to engage in the wide variety of mechanics PoE has to offer. While fun is pretty subjective, I personally had a great time running these maps and would highly recommend Lair if you're interested in giving any kind of divination card farming a shot. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to lend a helping hand. In any case, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you all next time.